Sometimes when you think you have nothing to write about, it's really because there is something important that you're avoiding thinking about. You're avoiding processing, because once you put it down on paper, it's real.
Hey queens. Yeah, you know who you are. God, come on. Go ahead and put that crown on your head. Now tilt a little to the left. Now a little to the right. Perfect. Now let's get to work. Because we know you got big goals. And you got big dreams and not afraid to let them know. Why? Because you step into your purpose. You speak out on your faith. And you shift up in your journey. Because you a boss. Welcome to the podcast, Drop the Expiring Act, with your host, Veli of QueenBayGoals.com, reminding you that you are a queen before anything else. It's your life and your goals. Make it royal. All right, y'all. Go ahead and work that crown. Shape my life. For some reason, I just wanted to sing that. So, this week we are talking to Mai of Shape My Life, and Mai helps people use journaling for healing and growth in this week's episode of Dropping the Hurt for Healing. Take a listen. All right. Welcome back to another episode of the Drop the Aspiring Act podcast. Today we are talking with Mai about dropping the hurt for healing. She's an entrepreneur, blogger, and an author. So, Mai, can you give us a bit about yourself, or your bio?
My what?
Your bio. Your
my bio. Okay. Yeah. I have always just been a lover of journaling. It's something I've been doing since I was 8. And so after a while of seeing, like, whenever I would have journaling sessions with people having a hard time, or not necessarily having a hard time, but trying to figure out what they want to do, or things that are holding them back, I realized the value and the power of journaling, not just for me, but for others. And I just wanted to help others to learn how to heal and to grow through journaling, just because if you don't heal, it's impossible to grow the way you want to. And it's impossible to find the kind of happiness you need. And we all need healing.
Right. So what made you think I can take journaling and make this like a business? Because a lot of people, they just go out there and, they throw those little journal books together and they're like just selling that. But like, how did you turn journaling into like an entire business?
Oh, that's a good question. I think it's because, I had done other businesses, but I wasn't 100% happy. Like, I have another business where I do website design and writing. I love the writing part. But I was just thinking about something I could do that would that I'm passionate about, and that would help me be happy, and that would make a change in the world. And so as I thought about the different experiences I had whenever I told someone, hey, let's journal together. Have you tried this? Have you done this with your journal or something like that? I was like, the world needs healing, and personal growth is something people are understanding more and more, the power of it. And so I started to take on clients for free or very little price, just to see how it would work. And at first, the people I took on, they're skeptical.
Right.
They're skeptical.
Like, how do you make that a business? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But after doing the sessions, they're like, I feel so clarified. I feel so good. You've got to try to make this work.
Right.
And stuff like that. And then I started providing just free content out there, and yeah, that's how it started.
So what do you say to somebody who's never journaled before? Like, how do they even get started in journaling? Like, if they feel like, I can't pick up this book and write anything, like, what do you say to those people?
Oh, okay. Usually, I feel like the best way to start journaling is to do a journal prompt.
Okay.
I feel like life in itself is a journal prompt, but sometimes we just get blinded by certain things that are happening in our life or that we see. And so you need something to just prompt your thoughts or your emotions. And usually once they have a journal prompt, they're very surprised how much they can write. And also, and this is for novice journalers as well as expert journalers, sometimes when you think you have nothing to write about, it's really because there is something important that you're avoiding thinking about. Wow. You're avoiding processing, because once you put it down on paper, it's real. It's real, and now you have to process it.
It's so funny you said that. I did a 21 days challenge for journaling the other day.
Oh,
and
awesome.
Some days I felt like I didn't have anything to write, so I would write like I'm watching Bones and just put the pen down. Because I'm like, I don't feel like there's anything left to write.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, I'm like, wait a minute, I have all this stuff. But what I liked about that, because I still said, okay, I'm going to write something. So I'm like, I'm watching Bones and I just dropped the pen. But when I go back to the book and write again, it's like all this stuff comes flowing out, because that triggers the memory of, you know, whatever I was holding inside. So I get that. I totally get that.
Yeah, exactly. There's so much we're holding inside that we sometimes are not even aware of. For instance, I'll give you one time I went to the dollar store with a friend, and there were these little journals. Again, I've always journaled, so it's no big deal. There were these little journals, and they had these pictures of these little Black girls playing dress up, trying to do the same things their mothers were doing.
Oh, that's
right.
Yeah.
And I burst out crying, and I was like, why am I crying? Why am I crying so much? And it's because I realized that I had never seen anything that had portrayed me as a little girl doing real things. You know, it's always been mostly like Caucasian little girls doing the things I enjoy doing, the things we all enjoy doing, playing dress up, trying to be like a big girl at such a young age. And I'd never seen that before. And it took journaling to figure that out. I never realized that, because I mostly grew up in Caucasian areas, right? Even where I am today, Utah. right. So it's not, I did not see myself reflected very often, and definitely not reflected as a normal little girl instead of a stereotypical Black little girl, you know? And so that was something I realized, like, oh, I need to make sure to put things that make me see myself and what I want, or what I am and who I am.
And put that out in the world. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. So how can people get into your journaling workshops? Like, how can they find you and say, okay, let's journal together. Help me.
Okay. So there's two ways we can journal together. So with the journaling workshop, you just go to my website, shapemylife.com, and you should go to resources, and you'll find my somewhere to sign either for my workshop or sign for the wait list. But another thing I try to do on social media is I try to get on every day or most days and just invite people to journal with me for 5 minutes. I give them a journal prompt.
That's
and I'm
cool.
like, okay, let's go. Let's journal for 5 minutes. And it's a good way for them to have accountability, because let's be honest, whenever we're starting a new habit, it's nice to be accountable to someone.
Right.
About it. Yeah, I know. Me too. Exactly. And so it's just something, and it's 5 minutes. Everyone has 5 minutes.
So where can they find your social media handles? Where can they find you online so that they can join you for those 5 minutes?
Okay. I tend to hang out on Instagram, and it's shape, the handle sign at Shape My Life, Shape My Life. And I plan on starting to do Facebook Lives doing the same thing. And it's just Shape My Life. If they look for that page, they should find me again. Yeah.
Okay, and I will include all the links in the description so you guys will be able to find her at all her social media handles. Now, we end every podcast with a quote. So what is the quote that you want to share with our guests this podcast?
So the quote is, and I hope I get it right, and it's on my website, and I really love this quote, and I think it's perfect for your audience, right? It is, if you don't like where you're at, move. You are not a tree.
Why did you choose that quote?
Because the whole podcast is about dropping the aspiring act, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's you are somewhere and you're thinking about it, and we can get so stuck in research mode, and we are consuming,
Right.
and 15 years down the road, you never drop the act, you never became. And so this is reminding people, hey, if you don't like this, you actually have to make an action. You actually have to move. You have to do something. It's not going to happen. You're not deeply rooted to one spot. You're deeply rooted to wherever you want to be.
Right. I love it. I love it. Thank you for being a guest on the podcast.
Thanks for having
joining me. No problem. Make sure you guys come back and listen to the next podcast episode. We have so much more guests coming, and we'll see you in the next episode. You have been listening to another episode of Drop the Aspiring Act. If you're looking for more information of this podcast and other episodes, please visit queenbaegoals.com. That's QueenBaeGoals.com. All right, y'all. I'll see you in the next podcast.